everyone, my name is Sally and I'm a music leader for the Urban Vocal Group. I'm also a singing and voice teacher and I specialise in contemporary and commercial technique. Today I want to talk to you about repertoire. Now, repertoire is a funny word, but basically it means all the songs that you sing. So don't worry about it. It's one of those terms that gets thrown around that may confuse you, but don't worry. It is just all the songs that you sing. The reason I want to start talking about it is because over the last few weeks we've been talking about picking songs that are appropriate for your voice and making sure you're being kind to yourself and that you're not stressing yourself out by picking too hard or too high or too low songs that don't necessarily flatter you. This video is all about repertoire and how to pick songs that will work best for you and what you need to be looking out for and how to make the most out of your repertoire as well. So the first thing that I always like to get people to do when they come to me, and I work with a lot of professional singers and a lot of people who are starting out and wanting to be professional singers, and you may not be that person, that may not be for you, but you will still want to collect songs together that you may want to perform, and this is going to be really, really relevant for you, okay? So the first thing I like to get people to do is to pick all of their songs, to kind of collect them all together, so create a playlist, and you may already have playlists already, and we might do different playlists, like we might have like a lovey-dovey playlist, we might have maybe an R&B playlist or a rock playlist or whatever your particular style is, we might have that. You may also have a Christmas list, you may have all the different holidays. If you don't and you are gigging and you want to be a professional singer, that is a good place to start, you know, is to go and collect all like your holiday lists, you know, all the different things that come up, like a summer playlist or like a winter playlist, like a Christmas playlist, you know. So all of those things are really, really important to kind of gather all the songs that you know and that you enjoy and bring them together. Okay, that's the first thing that I want you to do. Then I want you to start to categorize them. So into two different categories, into your A list and your B list. Now your A list is when you're at the top of your game and they're powerful songs and they've got all the show off notes in them. That is your A list. Your B list, which is probably the most important list that I'm going to get you to look at, is your easy list. Now, it doesn't mean that it's boring, but it means that you haven't got any crazy high notes that freak you out, okay? It's one of those songs that you can sing no matter how you feel, and that when you're comfortable, it doesn't matter whether you're feeling a little bit run down or you're feeling tired or your voice is a little bit tired. That's what I want you to think of. That B list should be chock full of all of the songs that you know really, really complement your voice and that you don't need to work too hard on. That may be one of the hardest lists to compile, but once you do it, it's going to be fantastic for your voice. And in fact, when we are putting a set list together, so if you think about what the average professional singer may need, they may need 2 times 45-minute sets. Okay, so it's 2 lots of 45 minutes worth of singing. Sometimes they want 3 45-minute sets, which is a little bit scary, but it can be done. You know, we've got plenty of songs. Now, what I want you to start thinking of is it's not about panicking and making sure that you're just pushing songs in there for the sake of having extra time, you know. They need to be songs that you enjoy, they need to be songs that are kind of good quality vocals in them, that you're not going to be straining or not going to be suffering through your set, because no one wants to see that. So, as I said before, now this may not be for some of you who don't really care about having a gigging life, you know, who don't want to go out and perform. But like I said, if you are a singer and you're enjoying performing, or it's just even for yourself, it's good to have these lists, because even if you just want to sing, okay, and say today you really, really want to sing but your voice is tired, obviously we'd go right, do all your vocal health stuff and look after yourself, but that's not always going to happen and you just want to sing. We would be picking songs off the B list because we know that's going to be safer for us, and tomorrow we may be able to sing from the A list because we didn't suffer through the A list today. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what I want you to start thinking about. It's not about eliminating songs because they don't necessarily suit you, because we still keep them for other reasons, but it's about making sure that you are prepared for worst case scenario if you've got a gig come up or you've got performance come up and your voice just can't handle the songs that you've picked. Because trust me, I've had a lot of professional singers come to me who've completely destroyed their voice because they only have A-list songs in their set. And this is what I want you to start thinking about before you even get started, or if you are started now, just to start to consider that as you're going through building your set list for when everything gets back up and running, okay? So that's the first thing, is A list and B list. Now, A list I kind of think of as like your hardcore stuff that's really, really difficult, that's got power notes in it, that you might have those kind of psychological wobbles where you're just like, oh, I don't think I'm here today. Your B list is your easy, your comfort list, where everything sounds really comfortable. You don't have to work too hard for them. There's nothing too strenuous or scary in them. Okay, so it's your A list and your B list. That's one of the first things I want you to do. So compile all your playlists together and then split them up into the right places. The other thing that I want you to start doing is thinking about what are you creating this repertoire list for. Are you creating it just for your own enjoyment? And that's great, and that would just be full of all the songs that you enjoy and that you think flatter your voice. I wouldn't be worrying too much about making sure that they're a particular style, particular genre, although that's a good challenge. A lot of my younger singers I'm working with at the moment, I'll say to them, right, go and find me 3 musical theatre songs. I'll say, go find me 3 rock songs, you know, and 3 kind of R&B, soul, whatever, to go through. And it's a good challenge to actually get you to start seeing what you think about different genres and seeing what your voice could do with different genres. So it's all about that exploration and getting through and just kind of opening your mind to different styles that you might not have tried before. So that's kind of the first thing. Is what, like the second thing, sorry, is what do you think that you are going to be putting this together for? Is it for yourself? Is it just for your practice routines? It's just for your own enjoyment, like for your hobby. If it's because one day you'd like to be a performer and you'd like to go out and gig and you'd like to be able to actually get up in front of people and do those 2 times 45-minute sets, this is going to be more important for you to kind of consider that maybe the song choices that you enjoy may not be what the wider audience would enjoy. So I would make sure that you're looking at all the different age groups that you may be singing in front of. And they always say that Motown is a cash cow, you know, so if you don't know much about Motown, Motown was a label around about, I think, the 50s and 60s, and it's obviously it's still come through over the past like few decades, and lots of artists are in there that you would really kind of recognise. But a lot of people like to stick with Motown because it tends to be very recognisable for a lot of people. There are lots of playlists out there already that have kind of like pub classics and all things like that, because if that's where you're going to go to, you're probably going to end up gigging at some point in those type of venues that want to hear that type of music. So what I want you to start thinking about is, do you have a lot of underground kind of unsigned songs in your repertoire list that no one recognises? And that may be an indication that maybe you want to start to bring other music into your playlist to be enjoyable for other people. Now, this is where we get into a little bit of a debate about, should you be playing for yourself when you're gigging for people, or should you be playing for your audience? Now, I'm a little bit controversial, and I think a lot of people, particularly professional singers out there, will agree with me, is that people may not necessarily want to listen to your original music straight off. So a lot of people like to put covers in and bring their original music through. Okay, so you get your audience, you get your people captive, you know, you kind of people who want to pay attention to you, and then you start to feed through your originals. There is a time and a place for that as well, because there's some places that you'll go and gig that will not want covers. You know, you have to go and do originals, and you'll also have to go and do other venues that may only want covers, you know, because it's for certain evenings or certain occasions. So that's another thing to remember, is that if you have original music, then you need to have a set list for original music that may have a few covers in, but also you may have to have just covers set lists, okay? I work with a lot of people who don't like doing covers, who think that they just want to sing their own music. I'm going to be honest with you, if you want to make money right now in this industry, you're going to need to do some covers and kind of put other people's music out there as well. I also think it's a good starting point for training your voice is to use covers, because if you are writing your own material, you may not actually kind of be hitting all of the right notes all of the time, you know. So we want to make sure that if you're still starting out within your musical journey and you're only singing originals, sometimes it's good to have a guide vocal there to help you along, okay? So that's a little bit controversial, because some people agree with that and some people don't. And my opinion on that is basically based off of all of the professional singers that I've worked with in the area and their successes within their different set lists, okay? So, set lists. What are you creating it for? Who are you creating it for? I hope that kind of makes sense, that. The main thing though also is that you need to be enjoying the music that you're singing, because if you're not enjoying it, you're not going to be practicing it. Okay, so if you are that person who is being made to sing this song for someone's birthday or someone's wedding, you know everyone always gets that, where someone says to oh, so and so, you'll get up and sing a song for the birthday or whatever, and you have to sing the song that you don't necessarily like. Now that is the epitome of being a working musician, is singing songs that you don't necessarily like. But what we do need to make sure is that your own personal set list that you may take out and gig with is full of all the songs that you enjoy singing or that you think make you feel good when you sing. Because if you're not having those songs that you really enjoy, that's going to come across to your audience really obviously that you are not having as good a time as what you should have, you know. And if you've got a couple of songs in your set that are fantastic for you and that you really enjoy and that you think really show you off, that song that's not so great for you will really stick out like a sore thumb, okay? So you've got to be very careful that you're actually putting your I suppose, effort into making sure that you've got songs that work for you and that you enjoy. Because also, are you going to go and practice that regularly if you don't enjoy those songs, or will you always put them off? Okay. The last thing I want to talk about is also tacking back on to what we spoke about over the last few weeks about picking songs that suit you. Now, a song that suits you is a song that is comfortable. It's not too big or too high or too low within your range. It's not got the strength that you don't have. So if it's a belter and you are more of a softer singer, that's not necessarily a song that I would be picking for you. You've got to make sure that it suits you and your style, and also potentially your age. You know, if you are singing musical theatre songs, or if you're singing songs that are about things that maybe aren't quite appropriate for your age group to be singing, that's something to consider as well. With that in mind, also, I'd be very, very careful of any songs that have explicit lyrics, anything that's quite offensive to people. Be very, very careful of that, because you don't know who's in your audience and you don't know who you're likely to offend. And I know a lot of people be like, well, if they don't like it, they don't like it, whatever. That's all well and good, but if you want to be likeable and you want people to want to book you, if that is what you want to do, or if you want people to be kind of engaging with you, you don't want to necessarily be effing and blinding all the time, you know? So it's making sure that you are being kind of professional in that. And that's even if you are 13 and you're going out for your first ever performance, you know, it's about making sure that you start from a young age, that you are going to be that person on stage who is kind of accessible to everyone, you know, and that you're not working to kind of just go and be big and swear every now and then, because no one really likes it, you know. And what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you are being true to yourself with all this, though, you know, because there's a lot of like, do this and don't do this and don't do that. But at the end of the day, these kind of things that are here are based around you enjoying your music, okay? And like I said, this may not be for you if you don't intend to go out and gig, but if it's for you as a person who wants to get the most out of your singing for yourself, those things really, really apply to you, because like we've been saying for the past couple of videos, is that if you're not singing the right songs for your voice, you're never going to get the most out of your voice, and you're never going to sound the best that you can. So I hope you find that helpful. There's going to be a lot of things that I've kind of not covered in that, because this is such a wide range of kind of, well, the topic is massive, you know. To kind of get all of the information that you need to build set lists is kind of very difficult to pinpoint. But I thought these were my best top tips of what I always see go right or go wrong within professional singers. So make sure that you're thinking about those points going forward. And like I said, if you do nothing else apart from get your set list up together and then pick your A-list songs and your B-list songs, that is going to set you up for just having great voice days, you know, and making the choice that if you know that today's not a good voice day, you're not going to be doing those big belters, okay? Because no one wants to hear you strain and scream, and it's just not nice, okay? So I hope that that was helpful to you. I will see you soon, and yeah, let me know if you've got any comments or any questions. See you soon. Bye.